Greetings, Australian Clear Aligner Society. This is Robin Bethel presenting to you from Austin, Texas. It is December 31st, New Year's Eve. It is 2018 where I am. It's 2019 where you are. How's the future? I certainly am proud to be here, and I think it's the coolest thing that you guys have a impartial clear aligner symposium in 2019. This is progress. This is amazing, and I'm honored to be a part of this and presenting. Let me get my face out of this picture, put myself down here. This presentation is called The Future is Clear, about aligners, and we're going to discuss the facts and implications of clear aligners on dentistry and strategize and give optimized approach for patients and our profession. This symposium will be February 22nd and 23rd. Tickets are still available, and this video will be available online in perpetuity with slides. And I hope it can add value to you and your teams. So who am I? Who is Robin Bethel? I am a dentist from California, graduated in 2007, been providing orthodontic options since 2006. I learned my Invisalign in California, qualified with Invisalign Clear Essentials, kind of got burnt out by it after seeing a few cases not work, and jumped ship to bracket and wire orthodontics, and eventually started in 2008 again with ClearCorrect due to some political changes with Invisalign. And now in 2014 and beyond, I switched almost exclusively to Invisalign after they've made some massive improvements. I am the owner of a practice in Austin, Texas called Forest Family Dentistry, and I have a team that I adore and I'm extremely proud of. I was put up and kind of got into the lecturing and speaking gig because of our team's, we call it Customer Satisfaction Index. We're #1 on Yelp and other review platforms, and we've just developed systems to deliver better care to patients, and they've really received it well. And I'm a VIP Invisalign Diamond Plus provider, which is the highest rank on Invisalign. They kind of give you, it's basically like flyer miles, where if you get Diamond Plus, you get some discounts and you get to advertise that you know what you're doing. And in 2018, we've done over 400 cases, started over 400 cases, finished over 350 cases. I'm also a key opinion leader for the American Academy of Clear Aligners, which is something similar to the Australian Clear Aligner Society. It's a great group. We just had our first ever conference last year in Las Vegas, and I love to see that these kind of conferences are catching on. They offer tremendous value to general dentists doing clear aligners. I lead 9 study clubs in Texas, Indianapolis, and Detroit, and I look at 50 to 100 ClinChecks every single week. Have done that for the entire year of 2018, and have viewed over 1,000 ClinChecks. I can be reached down here. These are my email address. You can also Google Crushing ClinChecks to see a YouTube video, and you can comment there. And you can check out our Facebook group called Aligner Nation online. They are sharing ClinChecks. It's a group of very progressive dentists doing some pretty radical things. So Aligner Nation, Facebook, check it out. Move myself down to the bottom here again. Disclosures. I do not own or work for any clear aligner companies. I speak for Invisalign as a consultant, but all of my data is accumulated from a limited number of peer-reviewed publications and some textbooks and some public information, but most of my information comes from anecdotal experience, cases I've finished and seen in my office or have helped other doctors with. And I wish that this stuff was more validated, peer-reviewed, but due to the nature of a rapidly evolving and relatively new technology, there isn't much out there. There's a lot of fake information, a lot of fake news going on about what clear aligners can do, what direct-to-consumer products are doing, and I am not here to discredit anybody else, but I'm only here to talk about what I've seen and what I know to be true from my experience. And I hope that this information paints a good, clear picture and gives us all a grasp of what the future holds and what is possible in general dental offices. I also plan to, and am currently trying to blow the roof off all the behind closed door paywall stuff that a lot of orthodontists are trying to protect from general dentists. I also want to ethically and legally share every bit of information I possibly can on forums that are free, YouTube, Facebook, things like that, so that we dentists can grow as a profession. And how do we grow? If there's not a lot of peer-reviewed studies, or orthodontists are not letting us in and know all the information, how do we figure it out? Well, what I've done is created think tanks. Essentially, I lead 10 different email groups. This is my Gmail account. This is one group, Austin Aligners, where I answer emails. You can see this was taken in November, this snapshot, but probably 4 to 5 different email and clean checks from each group every single week. Those are the groups that I lead and have led in the last year. We are able to share these cases. We share clean checks with one another, pictures, help each other grow at any cost, and we're a community of support. This is also Aligner Nation, our Facebook group. We started this a couple months ago. It's very new, only 162 members. There's Jeffrey Skinner. He's a major contributor, very smart guy out of Oregon. But people like this coming together, sharing information, is how we grow. This is how these think tanks figure out what's next. And lastly, this is my Practices Invisalign site. We're doing a lot of Invisalign. You can see we have almost 700 cases in treatment. We've finished over 400 cases in the last 2 years, 350 done just this year. And this is our 200 cases in the last 6 months we've performed to get to Invisalign Diamond level. This is the data. This is how we're accumulating information, seeing what works. I also strongly support people join societies like the Clear Aligner Society that you guys have in Australia. I think this is incredible, and getting mentors to lead and discuss this is paramount. One of my biggest mentors is David Galler, and if you guys get a chance to see him and hear what he has to say, please do. He's been a major inspiration and mentor to me, and people like this are really changing our future. And I was reached out to on Facebook from the Australian Aligner Society, and man, I'm so impressed. So let's keep this think tank alive. Let's keep sharing information. I'm about to go into some cases here that I've completed in the last 6 months and show you what is possible, what we can be doing with clear aligners, kind of paint a picture of how our expertise is important here, what we can do. Our first case I want to share is a patient who came to our office, 47-year-old male. He wanted his teeth straight, but his orthodontist told him he was not a candidate for clear aligners. He didn't want to do braces. You can see how narrow these arches were and how turned and twisted these teeth were. He had some kind of funny shaped laterals. I'll show you another picture. They have the little indentation and cavitation on the mesial where he's got a lot of inflammation, gingivitis here. These narrow arches, we know now, can also affect oral posture, tongue position, breathing, airway. Anyway, we prescribed Propel, which is a micro-osteoperforation technique that accelerates orthodontics. May not do that again today, but in this case we did that. We did some munchies, and we also plan to do veneers in 7 and 10, which will help change the shape of those teeth and remove black triangles. Here's what he looks like 19 weeks later, less than 20 weeks. This is no refinements, no revisions. There's no posterior open bite. I took a picture here of his bite open on purpose so that we can see the incisal edges all smooth and flat. You can also see the little plaque trap there. You can see it from the lingual. That's one reason why we need to do some restorative dentistry, close that up. His bite was completely even. He loves his smile. This is before whitening. Patient thrilled. You see a little before and after. These kind of cases, when they walk in your office, if you can recognize that this is a candidate, you're going to change some patients' lives. These patients are already in your hygiene chairs. They're already looking to make improvement. They're easy to convert, and they can be predictable. Case number 2. This is one that's less predictable in terms of dentistry. This patient was extremely compliant, an amazing patient. That variable is very important if the patient's going to be compliant. This is one that was compliant. This is a case that many orthodontists and dentists would say is only feasible with extractions. She's 25-year-old female, crowded, blocked out 3s, blocked out canines, and inverted. Those roots are pointing up towards her nose. These are very difficult cases for any orthodontics. She's class 1 molar, right and left side, but the teeth are huge for her arches. She's got very narrow arches for teeth that are this big. On her treatment plan, I plan to make those teeth smaller, remove these marginal ridges. You can see how locked in she is with no chance for anterior slide with her mandible. Those lower teeth are smashing against her upper teeth. They've already caused some wearing and chipping. You can see number 9 here, upper central incisor. You can also see number 10 is in crossbite, tucked in there back behind these lower incisors. To most people, this would seem like a case that is not a candidate for Invisalign. Once you understand the basic premises and what is possible, you'll be able to recognize this is a case for Invisalign. We treat and implant IPR to remove these thick marginal ridges back here to help with the occlusion, and we used Munchies, which are my personal favorite accelerator to date. They're similar to Chewy's. I saw another presenter was talking about them. They're awesome. And I presented to Bond to number 10. This is what she looked like after 11 months of Invisalign, Locked in, class 1 occlusion, great bite. Here's my Facebook group popping on my screen. You can see what real life is like here. Occlusion's great, lots of widened tongue space, widened arches. We plan to bond to number 9 as well as manicure these teeth to smooth the incisal edges for the patient. There she is before and after, thrilled patient, amazing human being, so compliant, so optimistic, really ideal case for us. Not all cases go this well, but this one went perfectly. And I hope to shed light on what makes these kind of cases more predictable. Teeth moved absolutely the way we planned. Patient is now scheduled for bonding on 7, 10, and number 9, and we're doing core whitening to brighten these teeth up. Her satisfaction level 11. She's been a major cheerleader for our practice since completing Invisalign. Here's case 3. I'll go through these kind of quick. I'm going to put myself in the corner here. This was a case that came and presented to our office, a new patient from Illinois, long ways away from Austin, Texas, and she was doing Smile Direct Club. I'm not sure if that's available in Australia or not, but Smile Direct Club is a direct-to-consumer clear aligner product, and she noticed that her gums were receding and there's a lot of inflammation here. She reported that a chunk of gums had fallen off. For those who have been around aligners long enough, we know what causes this, and you can look at the lower arch. When she presented, there's a lot of crowding, blocked out canines as well, rotated. This one's inverted as well. Very difficult movement. Had she continued with her direct-to-consumer clear aligner case, those teeth would have continued to blow forward through the buccal plate. This would have gotten worse. They also would have ended up hitting on the anterior teeth, the upper anterior teeth, and she would end up with a posterior open bite and a very unstable bite. I know this through the experience. Luckily, she stopped halfway, came into our office, and we were able to identify the problems and diagnose this case appropriately. Here she is. This is 20 weeks later, 1 week aligner wear, using Munchies, no other accelerator. We charged her $3,800. We gave her a $1,800 credit because she'd already spent money on Smile Direct Club. We wanted to help her out, show her the right way to do things. Look at the gingival healing there. We have gained attachment as a result of doing the appropriate diagnosis, doing IPR on the lower anterior, making these teeth smaller so that they fit in the arch. You can see her bite now. She gets occlusion on every tooth, every posterior tooth, balanced occlusion. Is this case perfect? No, she could be locked in better. We may have been able to close that bite down a hair more, but this is exactly what she wanted, and we did no harm. We improved her gingival status. This patient's thrilled. We could have got a little more rotation on that canine, but it wasn't something that was important to her. And I believe that her prognosis is awesome. Because of a failure of a direct-to-consumer product, I now have a patient for life. This is an amazing opportunity. I'm very thankful for these kinds of opportunities in 2018. The patient bought Vivera retainers from us, and she was given free whitening to use with Invisalign. So in 20 weeks and 3 visits to our office, even at $3,800 with a $2,000 lab fee, it's a big win for us. You'd like this guy too. This number 4 case is a total life changer. Let me put myself in the corner here again. This was a 37-year-old female who presented to her office with very poor perio prognosis. She was told that she was going to lose 4 teeth. She was not ready to lose 4 teeth. Her life was just improving. It was getting better. She got a new job. She moved to Austin, and she was trying to have her first child. She was very optimistic, but was not ready to give up on her teeth. You can see that she had some teeth that had to go. She had some broken, a lot of decay. This tooth had decay in it. It needed to be triaged first. I treatment planned 4 quads of scaling and root planing, gum therapy. We took a CBCT on this patient to see where the bone was. And we were able to lingualize and intrude these lower incisors after they were clean. We treatment planned actually an implant on that tooth, not a bridge. This is tooth number 4. And this is what we were able to accomplish. Check this out. 15 months, 1 refinement or revision. We took that overjet and open bite. You can see the open bite here. That's 15 millimeter open bite, or overjet and open bite. We were able to close that. We were able to make it so that she could advance her mandible and bite with her front teeth for the first time in her life. Look at the attachment gain in the perio after gum therapy and Invisalign. This prognosis is greatly improved. Our periodontist who saw her and actually referred her to me was blown away. The prognosis has changed. She's now on a perio maintenance protocol. She had a healthy baby. The only reason we had to refine here midway is because she found out she was pregnant, and she wanted to take a little break, and we just put her in some clear aligners, passive aligners, held things for a while, and then we finished after her baby was born healthy and she finished breastfeeding. And now we are treatment planning for implant. So this is a life changer. This is a total health outcome improved kind of case. Here you'll see her before and afters. This is stuff that we can be doing in our practices relatively routinely if we know what we're doing and make the correct diagnosis. Here's a beware case. This is something we also get to learn about when we share cases that don't end up how we want. Here's a patient that presented to our office with chief concern. He had a significant overjet here. Teeth were kind of bucked out, flared out, and he had a lateral incisor that was tucked in behind his central incisor. And when he smiled in the picture, it's hard to see here, but it looked like he had little skinny teeth, and they were darker because they were in a shadow. So he didn't like the overjet or crowding, and he didn't like the way his upper lip flared out when he smiled. Seemed like a routine case. We took a pano on this case, and looked like any other Invisalign case. However, some things happened. This is 5 months later after treatment. Look at the overjets, way improved. Patient loved the alignment of the teeth. The crowding's better. Look at his laterals peeked around the corner. It looks awesome, right? He was thrilled. He was engaged. His fiance was super pumped. He needed a little bit of perio and cleaning improvement for sure, some staining, but otherwise a super compliant, happy patient. Yeah, he comes back, he sees me for a routine cleaning, and what do I see? What's unique about that tooth? It's darker. It's presenting as if it's necrotic. Luckily, I wore my brown pants that day. Very nervous about what could happen. Did I make this tooth blow through the buccal plate? Luckily, our team, we have a CBCT in our office. Look at this. Look at the bony invagination here on the buccal of number 7. You look at the cross section here, you see the apex of that tooth is through the buccal plate. Look how thin that bone is in that cross section. So using Invisalign and light forces, we went through the buccal plate on number 7 and it caused necrosis on that tooth. How could this have been prevented, guys? This is a discussion I presented to several of our study clubs. Would a cephalometric analysis caught this? No, it would not have. You could see in the pictures from the before, there is an invagination here. On the upper shot, you can really see it. I also have a ClinCheck I want to show you. This is his case here. You can see the upper tooth there, or you can see number 10, excuse me. You can see the invagination in the bone. Had I not taken a CBCT, which I didn't take the first time, this was undetectable. You can see his overjet, significant, over 10 millimeters of overjet. This is his 22-week case. correct the overjet. But look here, when you look at the superimposition, you see that lateral incisor, it moves buccally 1.4 millimeters and translates distally 2.3 millimeters. And what happened to that root is it went beyond the buccal plate and torqued. Had I known this in advance, we could have put a power ridge on this tooth and lingually torqued that root while tipping the crown buccally and prevented this problem. Certainly would have been nice. Let's go back to our slides here. Present. So what did we end up doing? We ended up making it right with the patient, telling him what happened, showing it. We offered everything to him for free, CBCT and a prophylactic root canal. I went in and did internal bleaching on this tooth. 2 weeks after internal bleaching, he came back and the tooth's now lighter than every tooth in his mouth, but he's happy. I then had to refine, and I'm torquing that root into bone the best I can. Prognosis on this, we're going to have to watch it every 6 months. All this is done on my dime. This is my mistake for not catching it. The real problem, and the thing that troubles me the most, is that a lot of people are telling us we shouldn't be doing Invisalign because we're not analyzing cephalometrics, or we're not experts at clear aligners or orthodontics. This stuff wouldn't be caught without CBCT. Is CBCT the standard of care? Absolutely not. And sometimes these things are going to happen. We need to know how to catch it, diagnose it, and treat it. Is this the only way to treat it with prophylactic endo and internal bleaching? No, it's not. There's other options. And we need to collaborate and find out different ways to prevent this and then treat it when it does happen. This last case I want to share with you right now is a trophy case. This is one that doesn't happen every day. It happened exactly the way I planned it to, due to excellent use of ClinCheck and diagnosis. This patient came in with about every single diagnosis you can make: spacing, crowding, crossbite, narrow arch, chipped teeth. There's so many things going on with this guy that's not even funny. And I looked at his case and I analyzed it, and first look I said, I don't know if I can handle this. But when you look at a ClinCheck, you see that with expansion and the appropriate movements in engineering, this is actually a very easy case to treat. This case was treated in less than 8 months, 7 months, no refinements, no revisions. This is before and after. Let's show you guys what this ClinCheck looked like. Here he is. He presented to my office. Had this space his whole life. Look at this arch. Look at number 10 tucked back like this. 3 millimeters of pushing that tooth buccally. You can see his arches. He's got soft and hard tissue here, unlike our previous case. So just by feeling that bone, I could tell that there's bone there to move number 10 into. No CBCT was taken here. Lower crowding, you can see canine blocked out, but lucky for me, I had some space here. I also, because of ClinCheck, was able to see that even after closing that space, we need a little more space on the mandible. So I had to do some IPR after closing that space. Look at this animation, this ClinCheck. Teeth go right to where we want. We did a little overcorrection at the end to close all remaining space. We even left a little hair space distal to that canine, just so that we have a little bit of overjet so we don't lock them in and cause chipping and wearing these anterior teeth. Now, the how I set this up and the theory to these kind of cases, I describe in Crushing ClinCheck slides and other presentations. I really encourage you guys to dive in deep, learn this stuff, learn the theory, the clinical preferences, how to diagnose and how to treat these cases through open sources and sharing the way I'm promoting. So check this out. Move myself to the bottom here. Here's present. Here he is. I don't know if Australia has Tinder or not, but this guy was ready to hit the dating scene and swipe left. Look at his smile. Never smiled before. Today he's got a strain to bring those commissurers up to really smile, but he's ready to smile. His teeth look wider. There's no posterior open bite. His occlusion was locked in. No fremitus on those anterior teeth. No posterior open bite. Just a great case, a real trophy. So you can change lives with clear aligners. This is possible. This was not possible before the last 21 years. All these cases refer their friends to our office. They're extremely happy. And there's some takeaway points I hope you guys walk away with from just seeing these before and afters. And that is that some really amazing stuff is possible if you diagnose correctly. I strongly encourage people to use digital scanners in their practice. It really opens things up. It allows you to see things you didn't see before. It allows you to plan and discuss with patients with them next to you. I want you guys to scan and impress more and more patients in hygiene. Before you recommend Invisalign or clear aligners, look at these cases. Do it for free if you have to, and learn from each other. And this is my statement. I believe that general dentists are the best aligning professionals for adults. I believe this is our expertise. We're experts in occlusion, cosmetic options, restorative dentistry. And this is up to us to learn this. So what does the future hold? If in the last 4 years we're doing this stuff more routinely, and more and more doctors are doing Invisalign, what's going to happen in the Invisalign clear aligner marketplace? Let's put me in the corner here. Currently, these are the clear aligners. This is an overview of the clear aligner players in this game in the United States. There's these direct-to-consumer products all came on the scene after 2016. Relatively new. Smile Direct Club is the biggest in the United States. Candid Co's a huge marketing. They're blowing up their marketing, trying to provide more and more clear aligners to people, competing directly with Smile Direct Club. There's Snap Correct, which is a offshoot of Clear Correct, and the owner started this in the direct-to-consumer environment. Ortholy, another one. There's many others. Then we have these companies that are in between intermediaries. They're all aligner by doctor. I call them the hunters out there. They're marketing direct-to-consumer, or they're marketing to the consumers, but they're bringing a dentist more conveniently to the, let's call them consumers. There's Clear Smiles in Dallas, Swinky Smiles in the southern United States. This company, Simply Aligners, is a company I'm a part of and partner in, where we're only doing aligner therapy, trying to be more convenient, more efficient, lower costs. And then there's these manufacturers of aligners that manufacture aligners for dentists and orthodontists. Smile Styler is in Australia. They're not in the United States yet. I'm very curious about what their projected growth and target market is. Obviously, Invisalign, Smile Direct Club, Clear Correct, 3M has new products. There's lots. Blue Sky Bio are getting into the clear aligner game to be led by dentists. DSOs and dental service organizations in the United States have a huge advantage in this and opportunities to scale. They can get these products a lot cheaper, and they can advertise it to a wider audience. Orthodontics and GPs and group practices are down here in the bottom right. We use these, we pay the highest price for them, but the patients are already in their chairs and they already trust us. This is where we sit. This is where I sat for 12 years. Now I'm getting into this area, but it's kind of an overview of where we are right now. I'm going to show this slide. This was just in March 8th of 2018. I started my study clubs in July of 2016, and it doesn't show it on this slide, but Invisalign's public offering, and they were trading in the marketplace at about $80 per share. When I started presenting, I tracked the growth, and you can see in 2017, S&P rated the #1 stock. These new companies were all popping up at the scene. There was articles written from Silicon Valley about tech startups wanting to get in your mouth. It has just been blowing up. At the high point of Align stock, it was trading at $400 a share. This was in September. Since then, the market has corrected. It's dumped down, but you can see massive expansion and growth. Invisalign is publicly traded, so they publish and they share kind of their growth with everybody. Some of these other companies are not, so you don't know exactly what their sales model, how much their spending is, but with Invisalign, we can see this. The moral of the story, it's growing like crazy. In 2017, I predicted that by 2020, the marketplace was going to expand 500%. And what I mean by that is, in the United States, 1% of adults have had orthodontics. by 2020, I believe that it will be 5% of adults will be looking for, or not only adults and children will be looking for or have access to clear aligners and Invisalign, or one of the SmileDirect Club comparisons. So the marketplace will expand. 5 Americans in the United States out of 100 will have had or be starting orthodontics. That's a massive expansion. Some of this data I want to go over this came from Invisalign's financials from Q3. This was published back in November. But they've seen growth quarter over quarter, year over year, 35% growth. They trained 5,000 new doctors in Asia Pacific and Latin America. Their market impact in Australia is relatively new as well, but they're growing like crazy in these new marketplaces. They're investing a ton in research and design. They're investing a ton in marketing in these new countries. They're expanding their production. Currently, they are producing out of Juarez, Mexico, and Costa Rica, and now they're creating plants in China and well, who knows? But China's definitely published. Growing like crazy. We also saw that DSOs increased 40% year over year. The DSO, Dental Service Organization, growth in the United States has been massive. In Australia, from what I can see, it's not quite as big, and there aren't big companies taking over general dentistry quite to the scale as the United States, but it will happen. It will happen around the globe due to their ability to scale and the money that's being invested and can be made in those markets. This is kind of cool to see that the average general dentist in North America was doing about 3 cases a quarter. Not nearly enough. If you want to be successful at something, according to Malcolm Gladwell, you got to do it 10,000 times. That's a lot of quarters to go by to get to 10,000 cases. Even orthodontists only doing 17 cases. That averages less than 80 cases a year. It's not cutting it. You can't become an expert at something doing numbers that low. We also have seen massive marketing campaigns. I like to show this one off. This was found online. You guys, I don't know if Grindr is in Australia or not, but one of my colleagues found an advertisement on a dating app that showed 60% less with invisible aligners and had a code for grinding. Moral of the story, this marketing is everywhere. People are seeing clear aligners on TV, on Bravo Network, Facebook, Instagram, dating apps. Anywhere there's attention, these companies know about it and they're putting their product in front of our patients. So it's bringing a lot of people to the top of a funnel. They're already coming into your practice interested because of this marketing. This is also true of today, that these companies with a lot of money are very litigious. There's news that comes out that SmileDirect Club will sue dentists who talk bad about their product and are libelous. I certainly only can criticize what I see and have proof of, and I actually think SmileDirect Club is growing and becoming a really remarkable product, but I don't want to be on the bad side, and I don't want to be talking bad or making up misinformation about them because they're suing people. Cease and desist, it's common. They are also investing a ton of money. Private equities are coming in and investing in SmileDirect Club, $380 million. And if you read in the text, it says that they're evaluated at $3.2 billion. Invisalign's valued at over $12 billion. SmileDirect's only been around for 2 years, and they're already eating up market share in massive chunks. It's growing like crazy. They're investing a lot of their money into research and design and manufacturing. They're going to invest most of that money first and foremost into marketing. This is a reality. Let's go back here. Direct-to-consumer is not going away. As a matter of fact, it's just going to get better. This is something that a lot of dentists in forums and groups that I'm in are really afraid of, and a lot of orthodontists, for good reason, see the harm that can be done, want to prepare the market and basically warn them that these products can be harmful. You know, I as a human prefer to to build up and help grow awareness and not tear other companies down. I think that there is definitely a lot of strategies at how to deal with unhappy patients and customers who have had clear aligners and not been happy, or ways that we can improve our outcomes. But I recommend that we go about this in a very supportive way, supportive of the patients that have gone through this, supportive and empathetic that, hey, this looks cool, it's way sexy. You don't have to see a dentist. You don't have to spend $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, and it certainly can get to people that don't have access to orthodontics. So I get it, and I'm here to help make this all better and help treat the patients that I come in contact with better. Anyway, we can spend hours talking about this. I also wanted to point out what's happening to pricing, and I believe that now and in the future, clear aligner options are going to become more and more affordable. Certainly Invisalign, in their Invisalign stores in the United States, are offering guaranteed price to consumers, $2,500 guaranteed to consumer, which means the general dentist that takes this case will net $739. That's a tough pill to swallow, especially if your margins are thin. It's very hard to run a practice, employ a team of skilled professionals, and make money if the patient is in your chair for more than an hour, and that's a tough thing to do. These prices are going to continue to go down as the marketplace gets more competitive, and we need to either adapt to it, or we're going to get taken over and we'll become irrelevant. And I think that's the wrong thing for us. So what are the truths? What can we talk about when it comes to direct-to-consumer orthodontics? Well, one thing, there are forums and consumer reports. I love this one. This is funny. This is going to get bigger and bigger, and this is a Facebook forum. I love to get in wherever I can to find information, to find out what the zeitgeist is, what people are talking about. So I am in the Smile Direct Club support forum. This is a patient submitted. Is my bite still going to be off when I'm done? This is her mid-course. Her anterior occlusion, she's not hitting on the back teeth, she's only hitting on front teeth. You know, some people function like this their whole life, but when someone goes from class 1 occlusion on their back teeth to anterior occlusion, we know that the results can be catastrophic. And I love that the support they get from their peers, these are not dentists, is like, is my bite going to be off? Yes. It's off now, it's not likely to get better. You know, Somali says, my bite was really off mid-treatment. It's improved considerably, but it's not perfect. I'm at the end of my last stage considering refinements. This Jessica goes on to complain about her experience. I mean, it's wild, wild west out here. And the first time in the history of dentistry, we have these forums of public consumers supporting one another and answering questions. I think it's awesome, but man, can misinformation be spread rampantly. This patient, we know, needs a lot more than attachmentless, IPR-less plastic. There's a lot more that needs to go into this to get this bite right. I wanted to show Dr. Ben Burris is a major contributor and supporter. He's an orthodontist in California. He blogs, and he talks a lot about direct-to-consumer. He calls it direct-to-you, not do-it-yourself. And a lot of dentists claim that these products are do-it-yourself because you take your own impression and you don't have a doctor-led, but Ben Burris has kind of blown the lid off this, and he's shown that he is an orthodontist that looks at these ClinChecks. I'll call them ClinChecks. They're not really ClinChecks, but looks at these cases from Smile Direct Club. And dentists are leading this, but they don't have any contact with the patient, and they don't have x-rays, and they don't have the ability to do IPR or put attachments on, and they're very limited. I also want to look at what the AAO is saying, and the American Academy of Orthodontists, basically, without putting skull and crossbones, is like the tobacco companies from the 60s in warning consumers about these products. I mean, this was an updated one. The first one was like giant yellow letters showing, do not use direct-to-consumer products. They used to call it do-it-yourself, and they've had to modify some of this and are constantly changing their approach. But man, the American Association of Orthodontists is adamantly opposed to the future of direct-to-consumer products, and they have an interest in this. Obviously, orthodontists don't want to see their market collapse. I'd argue that it's not, and it's expanding, but people draw lines in the sand, and they are either on the side of progress or they're on the side of opposing, I guess, the problems. This is one of the things I took most offense to by the AAO, and they said, what's the difference between a dentist and an orthodontist? And they posted this page in September 2018. An orthodontist does all these cool things and specializes in straightening teeth, specializes in aligns, choose from all different available treatment options. And a dentist, all we do is clean teeth, fix cavities, check general oral health. It's such a sly at the general dentists in the United States, and I take offense to it because we take an enormous amount of care and study in occlusion. We understand clear aligners from their conception without a background in braces, which are often very different than clear aligners. We see and treat patients every day, 20 to 50 in some offices, diagnosing occlusal problems, recommending restorative options, dealing with patients' anxieties. We have an enormous amount of tools at our disposal, and to say that we don't is just not right. So, yeah, this is the reality in 2019 and going forward. Let's slide this up forward. So, summary of the facts. There's an Invisalign store opening. It's happened in Q1 of 2019. There will be 14 stores. Smile Direct Club is growing at an astonishing rate. Market volume is increasing at an alarming rate. And the clear aligner marketplace will expand, in my prediction. This is just a conclusion, not a fact, but my prediction since 2017 by 500%. And who's going to be the one that treats these patients? And how are we as the professional to respond? And we are beholden to our board and our ethics, and we have to make sure that we know the answers when our patients come in the door and ask us what to do when they're confronted by, Smile Direct Club and companies like that. So there are forums, and there are tens and thousands of consumers, and they're talking about clear aligners. This is unprecedented. We have access to these places where people, may be afraid of dentists, being ashamed by dentists, but they're talking and they're communicating, and we have an opportunity to go in and help lead them and guide them safely on a journey of orthodontics, and that's a really cool opportunity. The next very wordy slide here is, what does the future hold for general dentists? I think that by 2020, more than 50% of general dentists across the world are going to be using clear aligners. Right now, it's less than 30%. United States, it's a little higher due to Invisalign marketing in the United States. And right now, based on my experience, I believe that less than 1% of general dentists and orthodontists know how to get predictable results with the clear aligners alone. And there is a lot of different strategy out there. There's a lot of different theory to clear aligners. But many people are going through 4 or 5 revisions, ending up very frustrated, blowing through buccal plates, causing gum recession, doing things that are unpredictable. And so by 2020, I think that number is going to rise. I hope it certainly rises at the rate of growth. I certainly hope that the 50% of general dentists using this, at least 25% of them are doing it correctly. The other thing that's going to be true in 2020 is Invisalign, who has access to all this data, knows what cases worked, knows the ones that went faster. They know what dentists are more confident and comfortable. These algorithms are going to catch on, and they're going to get better, and they're going to start changing the way we're moving teeth. They're going to improve. Invisalign, as a company, the market leader, certainly is investing a lot in general dentists and a lot in their algorithms. This is going to get better. These are going to get more predictable. I have seen since Invisalign Go came out, which is one product offered by Invisalign, an algorithm that looks very similar to the theory that I subscribe to, and making movements more predictable and anchoring on molars and putting the right attachments on. So dentists that start out that submit with Invisalign Go already have an algorithm that is more predictable. For me in my practice, I plan to grow in the following ways. I plan to teach and help other general dentists understand the possibilities in different with clear aligners. I also help to share and learn more from other people. I would like to get my refinement and revision rates below 20%, and that's a goal in our office. We're always going to have cases that don't work how we wanted, and we can learn from those. But if we can get it more predictable, then we can offer very predictable digital and conservative cosmetic restorative options. And if you can predict that someone's teeth, what they're going to look like after 20 to 30 weeks, show them a digital model of this, and then plan using STL files. You can export that file. You can build up teeth using CAD/CAM technology, 3D print models. You can give much more affordable cosmetic dentistry that utilizes aligners. So I plan in the next 3 years to become an expert at incorporating new techniques and technologies using CAD/CAM computers, using 3D printing, and blending high-quality restorative dentistry with predictable aligning outcomes. We're writing these textbooks. This is the next wave to come. And I firmly believe that this is the best time in the history of dentistry to be a dental professional. I hope and I sincerely believe that in Australia, you guys are, the wave is at the beginning there, whereas we're kind of midway through the aligning era. And I sincerely believe that this is the time to get into it. If you're already not fully invested, jump in feet first. Taking courses like this is definitely a first start. I want to show a few slides. A company called DSD in Brazil is using digital smile design software, and they are partnering with aligners to show patients, give them predictable estimates digitally what their teeth could look like after aligners and restorative dentistry. And this is happening right now. It's growing rapidly. I'm not sure yet if they're in Australia, but the CEO I know has a very aggressive marketing campaign all over the globe. And if you haven't heard of it yet, check it out. I believe techniques like this are the future of clear aligners and general dentistry. And there's a company out of Tacoma, Washington. I'm lucky to know the CEO, called BioClear. It's a cosmetic bonding, all additive technique. Oftentimes after alignment, we expose black triangles, or we expose chipped and worn teeth that were, in malocclusion for years. What BioClear does is it gives us these templates, these matrices that we inject flowable and warmed resin composite into, and we fill and close these black triangles predictably without prepping down teeth, which is just micro air abrasion. The implications of this are massive, and can you imagine what it would be like to 3D print a DSD model of a cosmetic case, do a suck down on this, and then using BioClear technology and isolation, inject composite into these molds, light cure it, and you have results like this predictably after Invisalign. I mean, it's a big blue ocean when it comes to this, and we can really be doing tons of cool stuff on the back of clear aligner algorithms and clear aligner orthodontics. So this is an example of a case I finished a few months ago. This is the bread and butter, and this is using DSD, well, not using DSD, but using BioClear technology. We took this case with, crossbite, malocclusion, worn, chipped teeth, aligned them, and did some composite veneers. It took, an hour to do under isolation, but can you imagine? In 20 weeks, we take somebody without prepping down their teeth, without the traditional instant ortho drilling teeth. We expand their arches, open their airways, line up their bite, and bond composite and whiten their teeth in 20, 30 weeks. It's unprecedented, and it is truly a opportunity for the dentists that want to jump in. I'm extremely bullish on this. So far, predictions have been accurate. I know in our practice we're going to be doing more and more of this stuff, and I certainly encourage and hope that you guys engage in discussions and help teach each other and share your cases and help us all to become the best aligning professionals in the world. Well, this is about it for my slides, guys. Can't wait to see you all and hear your feedback in February. And happy 2019. Thank you much.